How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Once again, we have people doing things that makes every other person in that group look bad. Talking about the culture here. What one does is a direct reflection of what all are represented to be. And, this day and age where, when you protest or you're trying to make a point, you do something positive, you know, a book sale or, you know, raise awareness for something, you know, whether it's selling, I don't know, some type of household goods, selling, custom t-shirts, doing something positive. But what do as a culture? We do the worst possible thing you can, over sexualize everything and we expect people to accept that. Here we go. Um, Apparently, these ratchet women are twerking inside of an establishment that doesn't appreciate the type of culture that comes into their establishment to represent wearing their clothing. Here it is.
I'm gonna say it. That Lululemon CEO had a point. He had a point. First off, I didn't know Lululemon material could stretch this far. I didn't know. But the fact that y'all chose to do this at a store that specifically singled out your demographic as customers they do not want, it's wild to me. Like, what is it? The CEO came out and said he didn't want y'all. And instead of boycotting, it made y'all want to go to the store more and give it more business and make songs about it and give it more PR. I, bro,
I don't get
again,
it.
I don't regret being black. I don't. If I had to do it over, I would still be black. But it's the people I'm associated with that kind of make me just like, hey, like, come on now. There's no way they were able to reverse psychologize y'all into doing this. And if you're not gaining anything from this, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a music video for the viral song. No, you're not in any way linked to the artist. So you're not. You're just raccooning for free. You're doing this shit for free for no cause, just doing it to do it.
So we all gonna stand right here and just pretend and act like we don't know what that man that owned Lululemon. We don't know what he meant when he was talking about black women and black girls and his stuff. Yeah, yeah. What? What was the reason? What
Exactly.
was the reason? This is the ghettoification that everybody's talking about. And I know some black girls are getting offended because they're like, what do you mean the ghettoification? We have to stop being so quick to be offended. That's a sign of insecurity because not all black women are created the same. That's some shit that.
Well, like you said, every time we do something, we got to getify it, something that could be something positive, good, do this, do that. Like even wearing like, clothing to school or college or back in the day, wear the school uniform. This is it. You figure out some way to try to bring some type of sex appeal to it. For what? There's no point, wear it for its intended purpose, not trying to make it look different, And like you said, the getification of it, all works, sexualize everything, why? Why? You're not getting paid for it. It just makes you look bad. It makes all the people that look like you look bad. And that's why I always say, the most undesirable because you don't want to listen. You always go against the grain. What's the purpose of it? I don't know. It's this day and age, like the people of this day and age, you know, just like I say, ashamed of nothing, offended by everything.
I would have never done as a black woman. I actually understood what he meant. We tend to hypersexualize everything. We tend to just turn everything super degenerate. We
Mm-hmm.
tend to we slum it out. We slum it out. He didn't want his shit to be slummed out. And what did we do? We slummed it out. Why? Why? What point are you trying to prove other than the point that he was making?
To be fair, I don't think he meant, you know, specifically black people don't wear my stuff. I don't think he pulled a Tommy Hilfiger. What I think the CEO meant was he doesn't, he built it for a certain aesthetic, a look, and he doesn't want, people of a larger, heft size to wear his stuff because you got to think about it, they design it for a specific size, a specific figure, and when you go to these certain stores, like you notice like some clothing brands and lines they don't go past a certain size. They may max out like a waist size 37 or 38. You won't find anything above that because their clothes are designed for a specific look, for a specific, size of person. They're not trying to make something bigger than what they are, like a big men's warehouse or the DXL or all that type of stuff. They want a specific person to wear their clothing line because that's what they model. That's what they, to their eyes, look good. So I don't think they, like I said, for the ghetto people or people like black, Latino, or whatever other nationality that specifically they say we don't want you wearing. He didn't pull a Tommy. Basically, he didn't pull a Tommy Hilfiger. Well, let's check out some of these comments real quick. See, I wrote a quote that said, "We're never ashamed, but always offended." So sad because it's true. So true. Lord help us. Facts are facts. The former CEO stepped down 10 years ago, but still holds 18% of it. Yes, that one. So yeah, so apparently he stepped down 10 years ago, but he said what he said. He wants a specific, size, type of person to wear his clothing. I don't think he necessarily directed at, a culture. But if you see, as you see in the video, it's a specific culture that's doing this. Like you said, hypersexualizing it. Ghettoifying it, if you will. Feels like a bunch of respectability politics. Sounds like you hate accountability. Yeah, it's true. Like a lot of people, you tell them, like even in our own culture, oh, don't do that. It looks ghetto. Oh, you too good to be of your culture. We always get called out because there's a certain group like me, call out, the bad things about our culture, but at the same time they turn around and they want to call you names because you're trying to help them out. It's not a good look, but we're the ones that are bad because we're not accepting that. I'm not understanding it. It's not normal. It's tactless. Exactly. Just like those women who are twerking in a man in a restaurant establishment, being inappropriate, but yet were offended. Exactly, because there's a video that came out where it's a family sitting down eating at a restaurant, and some big overweight black chick comes in, starts twerking right in front of them, trying to put her ass all up on them and stuff like that. I'm like, why? What's the point of that? Why? You should be ashamed. You a grown ass woman. You should be ashamed. Why would you do something like that? He's there with his family trying to enjoy a meal out in public in a restaurant, and that's the thing you could think of to do. I don't understand it. He never said anything about white women. He said simply the fact that make clothes for plus size women. See, that's what he's talking about. A fact blower took it and ran with it. Promote white people shit. They so lost. So it's not about promoting a person's or culture's stuff. It's about having some type of decorum when you go out in public when you're wearing this stuff. Like what's the point of twerking? I can get if that's what you're gonna do in a club for fun, do in your own time in your own home, but out in public around other people, and then all these people, whatever culture, races are looking at you, and that's what they associate with all that person, all that culture. Like, so why, and then we put held in a negative light when we go to other countries, other parts of the states, oh, it's one of those black people, they're gonna do this, because I see it on television. That's what they always do. Just be ready, hold back, watch out. They're gonna do it anytime now. That's what we're looked up as. I never understood it. Oh, there's just this guy. See what he says.
Women twerking in a Lululemon store, and it's just like, I hate to be the one to say it, but that's why they don't want us in there now. That's exactly why they don't want us in there now. Like, what was the reason for y'all going to these people's establishment, bothering shoppers, bothering employees, causing a ruckus? For what? Clicks and views?
That's pretty much what it is.
Like the clout is crazy. When the TikTok ban came, I honestly think we all just need schedule breaks where all social media shuts down.
And pretty much that's where it stops right there. But like you said, like what was the point of that? Clicks and views. Like it's like an endorphin rush. They get all this off of. Oh, look what this is going to be something that like make people look, make them think. But it's all for the wrong reasons. Like, what's the point of that? I just don't get to see it. Like, it's like when a lot of people go do like these dumbass pranks out in public, go bothering people as they're doing daily life things, or people who are working, go bother this guy while he's, restocking the fridge. Let's take his hat. Let's mess with the employees. For what? What's the point of that little serotonin rush, whatever it's called? Why? What's the point of that? I never understood it. But there's like this lady right here. Why? It's not a club. Exactly. Bro, they don't want us in there from the inception. They're all racist brands, so let's not blame the dancers. Place blame where it really belongs, Lululemon. But he's not talking about racism. He's talking about a large certain type of person. He doesn't want his aesthetic being ruined. You know, I don't understand this. So embarrassing. It's about not even. It's about to get worse. You know, I'm too big and poor for that store. I'm going to twerk anywhere at Kohl's. Go to Kohl's. See, the CEO does not want plus-size girlies wearing Lulu. Also, no rational person wants to shop with all the nonsense going on in an upscale store, no matter their race, gender, or size. I mean, who cares about the racist store? Shouldn't be spending money there anyway. So stop giving people who hate you the money. They're not saying that they hate you though. I believe it came out a couple years back that this was put out. It's just if you come up with a certain type of clothing, you know, like FUBU, like even FUBU did it back in the day, for us by us, but you see white people wearing it. Did anyone complain? No. You buy the clothes, fine, buy the clothes. Who cares? You're gonna shut off an entire demographic just because you don't like the way they look. That's what Tommy did. I think they've recovered since then. Because I remember I was like I think it was my like second or third year in the military. I think it was like to me it's like 2000, 2001. If I remember, somewhere way back then. Because I remember I had like this Tommy pullover. I had like the Tommy jeans and I had like my Tommy boots on. Like this is back when I was in I think it was in Hawaii at the time. And they said, "Oh, you haven't heard?" I heard what? Yeah, Tommy Hilfiger don't like black people. I never heard of it. I did some research. I'm like, did I get rid of my shit? No, I paid for it. Did I wear it as often? Not really, but I still had it. I still wore it. So I didn't do nothing crazy in it. I didn't, burn it. I didn't go, doing something dumb in their stores and protest or to boycott. That would have been better. Boycott. Don't buy the clothing. But no, let's go twerk in the store instead. Let's just bring all types of shame onto our culture. Like I said, as always, ashamed of nothing, offended by everything. That's my thoughts on it. That's my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Hit that like button and let me know. Catch you next video. Peace.